it's Michael from Culture Talk and Tours, and I'm here today at the Embassy of Belize in Taipei City, Taiwan, for an interview with Ambassador Pitts, the ambassador to Belize. Let's go meet the ambassador. Hi, it's Michael, and I'm back with Ambassador Pitts, the ambassador to Belize. Ambassador Pitts, wonderful to see you again.
It is always a pleasure to see you, Michael.
Thank you, and thank you for taking time. I know you are very busy. They are so busy in the diplomatic corps here. Now, we see you often at events, and we chat quickly and catch up on things, but I don't know so much about your background. So, where in Belize are you from?
So I was born and raised in Belize City.
Okay.
And I had to traverse the entire country for a number of reasons.
Okay.
One, I used to teach
Right.
in the capital,
Okay.
Belmopan, but I also was engaged in politics.
Oh, okay.
I was campaigning around the country.
Okay.
I did most of my education in Belize from preschool to junior college. And then I completed my tertiary and beyond education in the United States. So I did my bachelor's in Georgia at Albany State University, my master's degree at Ohio State,
Great.
The Ohio State in Ohio,
Right.
my PhD at Howard University in Washington, D.C.
Wonderful.
And I am completing my master's degree, another master's degree in international relations and diplomacy at the Fletcher School, Tufts University in Boston, Massachusetts.
Wow. So you're doing that online? Well,
It's
here.
asynchronous.
Oh, okay.
So we have two residency
Okay.
where we have to appear
Right.
in person, and then the other courses are done online.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
So that is where you're from. And also, for becoming the ambassador, you've been here now 3 years?
This month makes it exactly 3 years.
Wow.
So as I've mentioned, I am an educator
Right.
by training.
Right.
I was also an elected councilwoman,
Okay.
and now I serve as the ambassador of Belize to the Republic of China, Taiwan resident
Right.
and non-resident ambassador to Japan.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, here's where I was presenting credentials to the Emperor of Japan. I presented credentials to the President of Taiwan here.
Wow, I did not know that. So do you ever have to go to Japan to have any events or anything?
Yes, circumstantially, I would be in Japan.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Now, we've seen you at several events, and we've covered for my show, including your Independence Day, which was a wonderful event, and we got to see a lot of your students. Now, there are a lot of students from Belize on the scholarship program, and we've met a lot of them, which was so wonderful to see how they're coming here, and hopefully when they go back to Belize, they're able to make Belize even better.
Yes.
And it was interesting, we even got to see you in a sari at the Student Association dinner here at the
Well,
Belize.
it was the annual
Yes.
Independence Gala.
Yes, for the Belize Student Association. And it was great to speak with a lot of them because they were saying what they love about Taiwan and what they would bring back. Being on time for things, being really prompt with their studies, handing things in time. So it was great to meet them. So you've been here for 3 years. And how did you find it when you just arrived? This was your first time in the role as ambassador in a new country.
Yes. What I always say to people who would ask me such a question, I had to travel extensively prior to coming to
Right.
Taiwan. So I had been to the region, I think, 3 times before I was actually stationed here in Taiwan. So I didn't necessarily encounter any cultural shocks, so
right.
to speak. In terms of the food, I am always exploring cuisines.
Mhm.
So I do enjoy many of the dishes here
Right.
in Taiwan. For instance, one of my favorites that I always say is, I don't know the Mandarin, the Chinese name for it,
Right.
but it's Buddha jumps over the wall.
Yes.
The soup, right?
Yes, I know that one.
I also like the white fungus. It's like a dessert.
Yes.
I also like the braised beef.
Yes.
And the steamed rice and
Right.
the dumplings. So I do enjoy many of the cuisines here, the local cuisines here in
Yes.
Taiwan. I also enjoy hiking. I really do like hiking,
Yes.
and I think that's an activity that I became very involved in here in Taiwan.
Right.
I also enjoy meeting the people. I think Taiwanese are very friendly to me.
Yes.
They're very helpful. They're very polite, sometimes to a fault.
Right.
But I enjoy meeting Taiwanese, and I think that those relationships have helped me to transition a lot more smoothly here in Taiwan.
Right. And because you're coming to a new country in a new role, but also, like you were saying, Taiwanese are very friendly. And I find that because the focus of this series is the ally nations, they're quite proud to have all of these countries be an ally.
Yes.
And some of the things that Belize can do for Taiwan, like I hope that they get invited to WHO conferences and things like that. So you're enjoying yourself in Taiwan.
I am enjoying myself,
Yes.
and another important feature about the relationship, both person to person and people to people, is that, well, inherent in the diplomatic relationship between Belize and Taiwan are these opportunities to foster cultural exchanges.
Right.
And to build people to people understanding. I've always said that any relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or a formal relationship, there has to be understanding for it to work.
Yes.
And so we have engaged many initiatives
Right.
to build people to people understanding between the peoples of Belize and the peoples of Taiwan. And the people, Taiwanese are very receptive.
Yes.
They're very receptive to the initiatives that the embassy presents to them.
Right.
They are eager and willing to learn more about people
Yes.
outside of Taiwan and about different countries, which is an education
Yes.
unto itself. As you had mentioned, we had the Belize Cuisine Month.
Yes.
I believe it was last November, where we had Belizean cuisines on display for an entire month at AB&B restaurant.
Right.
And we invited Taiwanese to sample
Right.
our cuisines. Food is one way through which people can
To
get
bridge, yes.
to learn more about other peoples and their cultures and their countries. We participated in the travel fair.
Yes.
Again, we presented information about Belize's tourism to Taiwanese, and why it is that they should be interested or want to travel to Belize. And I think we'll get into some of those features throughout
Right.
this interview. We participated in the Lantern Festival
Yes.
annually.
Yes.
The year before, we had presented on the Jaguar Preserve. The Jaguar Preserve was the natural or national feature of our lantern.
Right.
And as you may know, Belize is known for having the first Jaguar Preserve in the world.
Yes.
And the year before that, we presented the Great Blue Hole as our lantern. Again, Belize is known for the second longest living barrier reef in the world. And the Great Blue Hole is a part of that reef system.
Right.
And many tourists from around the world would travel to Belize just to scuba dive or to snorkel the Great Blue Hole. In fact, it's characterized as one of the wonders of the world that you should visit at least once in your lifetime. So if you haven't done that, we welcome you to do that. And this year we presented on the national bird of Belize, which is the toucan, and the national tree of Belize, which is the mahogany tree. So the Lantern Festival is a platform through which Taiwan can introduce the world to its cultures.
Right.
But it also affords our country, it affords Belize an opportunity to also expose our cultures to Taiwanese.
Right. And I think it's important that Taiwanese do learn about kind of more about your country, because, you know, there's been several times where you and I have met, and on my way to get to whatever event, maybe the taxi driver or someone that I ran into, Taiwanese, didn't know about one of the ally nations. So I think it is important that we do like a focus on this. So we've talked about how you've got the MOFA program with a lot of students coming here. And I think it's a great program because, you know, the students come over here, they're getting a totally different climate. And back to you with culture shock, if you're going to school in Ohio and Washington, then you're used to the cold anyway. And to be honest, I'm Canadian, so this is winter. It's pretty mild compared to what you would have. But I do have to say that Ambassador Pitts is at every event I'm attending, and you're always at everything, and you're always, you know, Cato, the Central American Trade Office, has many events, and you and Ambassador Padilla are often at many events together. Just a couple weeks ago, you were at the book fair at the convention center, and I got there, I think the day after you were there, but I did show your display of the books. And speaking of books, an interesting story that you told me at your National Day event, you had Taiwanese students singing the Belize national anthem, and then what did you do to thank them?
So I have to interject here and say that there are so many events and initiatives that the Embassy of Belize has engaged or participated in or initiated. Too many to probably mention, outline, you know, in this short interview. But indeed, we did as another opportunity to expose Taiwanese to the cultures of Belize. I would reach out to the local primary schools and high schools to do mini presentations or mini lectures, cultural lectures on Belize. And so I believe the name of the primary school is elementary school is Rinlin. Rinching, sorry. Rinching Elementary School. I reached out to the principal, and I made a small presentation to the student body. And in that presentation, I had a conversation with the principal, and I requested for the students to participate in our upcoming independence celebration. And of course they were very receptive, and so the students decided to sing our national anthem, which meant that they had to learn the lyrics, and I believe their teachers also taught them a part of the history of Belize to give them that context, background, for the national anthem. So it was really a very an excellent educational project for the student, and they did such an impressive job singing the national anthem. In fact, it became one of the highlights of our events. So not only the embassy and the country of Belize benefited, but of course the students learned through that experience, as well as the Taiwanese society. I think the parents were very proud. The teachers were very proud of them. And then, as a gesture of gratitude to them, I returned to the school and I presented to their library a collection of our Belizean children books for them, so that they can also have the books as a means of learning more about Belize and Belize's history and cultures and people.
A continuation.
Yes.
So later we will see that, Ambassador, you have a set of books that it's a character from Belize and she's in different situations, and you were saying, I think they spent their summer vacation learning the national anthem.
Yes.
So you've got Taiwanese children learning to sing in English another country's national anthem. I thought it was wonderful.
Yes.
And it was so fun to have children at these events,
Yes.
because again, part of my series and going to all of these National Day parties is to kind of open it up and not be so closed doors.
Yes.
So it was so nice to have Taiwanese children there. They were trying all of your local dishes.
Yes.
So it was such a great situation. And then you went to the library and donated the books, because I ran into you at another event afterwards and you were telling me that story. Now, another thing that you were talking about, another diplomat was telling me the importance of sister cities. And sometimes it gets blown off as just being a fluff. And I know this week you were in Taiyuan to do a sister program.
Yes.
And this ambassador or diplomat was telling me that it's not a little thing, it's quite a huge thing, because when you become the sister city of another city, maybe you can do something with the schools, maybe the mayor from their city can come to yours, and it just kind of opens up something. You could do a pen pal program. So it really opened my mind to the power of sister cities. So you were just doing that with Taiyuan?
Yes, Taiyuan City Council.
Okay.
Actually. Mayor Dr. Chang.
Okay.
And we are, I won't mention the name of the city now, but we started the preliminary conversations to establish sister city relations between Taiyuan city and that particular city in Belize.
Okay.
And again, one of the primary objectives, I should say, of establishing diplomatic relations is to strengthen the relationship between countries.
Right.
And the establishment of sister city relations is one of those opportunities to do just that, right? There is a fostering of cultural exchanges that can be done in those sister city relationships. There is also a fostering of commercial activities that can be done through that means. And there are other benefits that could be yielded from the establishment of sister city relations. And so I'm looking forward to completing that particular project. But every activity that you had mentioned thus far, the relationship with these students and their schools, sister city relations, all of these cultural activities and commercial activities that the embassy engages, such as the Lantern Festival, the Cuisine Month, all of these agricultural and food exhibitions are all part of that objective to strengthen the diplomatic relationship between Belize and Taiwan.
Right.
And I just want to go back to the point about the donation of the books to the library and the opportunity that the students had to sing our national anthem in English.
Right.
And if you would recall that one of the mandates of the government of Taiwan is to establish Taiwan as a bilingual, the government says a bilingual country by 2030.
2030, yes.
But I think Taiwan is already a multilingual society, but I think what the government wants to establish is for Taiwanese to become fluent in English, right, by 2030. And as I've mentioned, I was once you're an educator, you're always an educator, right? Obviously.
Yes.
And so I am aware that to expose these students to these books in English at this stage in their education, or to even present an opportunity for them to learn a country's national anthem and to sing it in English. These are all opportunities for these students, these young Taiwanese, to become more engaged with the English language, which would help them eventually to become more fluent in that language.
Yes, and I'm a teacher as well, and so I always say the trick of teaching children is to do something that they don't know that they're actually learning.
Right.
So it could be a fun activity like that.
Yes.
Now, you are doing so many events. Again, you were at all of these book fairs and the food fairs. You have the whole line of the hot sauces, which I can attest are very hot because I had it at your National Day event. And I think one of the events where I just was like, wow, this woman is everywhere, is when you had your posters, the Belize posters on the Taipei city bus.
Yes.
And I opened up my news and there's Ambassador Pitts on a bus. And I just thought that was the greatest thing because everyone rides the bus and you see movies being advertised. And can you tell us anything about that campaign?
So that is a part of our what we refer to as our country's image promotion.
Right.
In Taiwan. And I believe a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, we engaged a similar activity, but it was on the train.
Okay.
I believe on the Red Line.
Right.
We had an entire display of Belize and a few of the cards.
Okay.
On those trains, with the Great Blue Hole and the other national features and wonders of Belize. And again, it's really a part of that objective to ensure that I believe there are 30 million Taiwanese in Taiwan, and a part of our embassy's objective is to reach all of the nook and cranny of Taiwan to expose Belize to Taiwanese. Yes. So this is one, Taiwanese do rely on the transportation system in Taiwan. So this is a great opportunity for them to have some visual engagement with Belize and Belize's features. Yes. And this year, the end of last year, we also did a similar activity, which was with the use of buses. Yes. Because as you had rightfully said, that buses are traditionally used to advertise movies or very important aspects of entertainment. Yes. Because it is so visible, and many Taiwanese do, have to rely on these modes of transportation. So we just thought that to use the bus, to use the train would be a very good way to promote our country's image here in Taiwan.
And what else is interesting is we've always seen maybe Japan, because a lot of Taiwanese would go to Japan, but I'm taking the subway maybe more than you are, but I don't know if you've noticed, but now Thailand and Malaysia are starting to do the same advertising, not on such a big scale, but it's quite interesting that that other people are seeing this works. But I thought it was great, and just another example. Now I'm kind of biased because I have met you many times, so we're trying to be very formal right now, but and I've been to Belize, so it is not a hard sell for me. And I've spoken to Madam Ambassador about how many fabulous friends I have here in Taiwan from Belize. Now, is there anything you can tell us about why the Taiwanese should go there? What I've found most interesting is, one, Belize is the only English-speaking country in Latin America.
In
Central America, and that Belize, and even your flag here is representing everyone. So you can have every skin tone, you can have almost Asian looking to I could be from there. So I find that quite interesting. And I found that to be surprising because when you think of this area of the world, because I did live in Mexico, that you would think that you just go over a border and then it's so different. So, and even your background, you were saying, you can have family from Caribbean, you can have family from Latin America, South America. So it really is quite
a confluence.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then even with language, so your official language is English, okay, but there also is
many different languages.
Yeah.
So, as you rightfully said, Belize is geopolitically located in Central America as well as the Caribbean.
Yes.
So
This is
I
right.
always say to people, if you want a taste of the Caribbean and Central America in one package, you should definitely visit Belize, right? So there is that. There are those influences, right, from Central America and from the Caribbean on Belize, and they manifest in every aspect of our society, in our cultures, in our cuisines, and certainly in our history.
Right.
And Belize offers a multitude of options that would suit the taste of any visitor to Belize.
Right.
We're concentrating on the Taiwanese market.
Right.
And we know that many Taiwanese enjoy hiking, right? They enjoy going to the beach, right? They enjoy diving. We have many activities that would suit those preferences. For instance, one feature that sets Belize apart from perhaps maybe other Caribbean countries would be the legacy of the Mayan civilization.
Right.
Belize has 6 districts.
Okay.
6 districts. Here, closest to Mexico, is a district of Corozal to the north. Also close to Mexico and Guatemala is a district of Orange Walk. Close to Guatemala is a district of Cayo, and to the south, bordering Guatemala and Honduras would be also on the south, is the district of Toledo. And then facing the coast of the Caribbean, you have the district of Belize, the district of Stan Creek, parts of Toledo, and parts of Corozal. And in each of these districts, there is at least one Maya ruin or Maya temple.
Right.
And so for that's an image of one of our Maya ruins.
Right.
And so for those Taiwanese who enjoy hiking, they can visit any one of these Maya ruins.
Right.
And they can hike to the top of them, or they can hike in our renowned rainforest.
Because this is jungle here.
A
lot of it is.
Right, yes, the rainforest. We're also known for our rainforest, and there are other activities that you can do in the rainforest. As I've mentioned, we have the first jaguar preserve in the world, so you can visit the jaguar preserve, and you can also do zip lining in the rainforest. You can do cave tubing, right?
Yes.
And I mentioned that we have the second largest barrier reef. This is the barrier reef in the world, and a part of this barrier reef is the Great Blue Hole.
Yes.
And for those Taiwanese who enjoy scuba diving or snorkeling, as I've mentioned, the Great Blue Hole is one of the wonders of the world that you should visit at least once in your lifetime. They can visit to snorkel, to scuba dive.
Right.
On the coast of Belize also are a number of keys.
Yes.
Right? Two of our major keys are San Pedro, Kikaka, St. George's Key.
And there's an Ambrose.
Ambergris.
Yeah.
That's San Pedro.
Oh, that's
yes.
where I went.
Yes. And you can these keys are less than 50 minutes away from the coast, right? From Belize City. They're less than 50 minutes away, or approximately, or less than an hour away from the coast. And there are a number of activities that you can engage in on the beach. I mean, you can simply just relax on the beach,
right,
and drink your margaritas,
right,
or eat your fish tacos.
Yes.
Or you can relax in one of the many resorts.
Right.
We have 5-star resorts, luxury resorts on these keys. You can also go inland, and you can visit other features such as the Mountain Pine Ridge, as I've mentioned, the Maya ruins, the Jaguar Preserve, or you can also visit our different rivers and our inland resorts.
Right.
Certainly, you cannot visit Belize without exploring our cuisines.
Right.
And we have at least 6 major ethnic groups in Belize, right? The Mayans, who are the indigenous people of Belize.
Yes.
You have the Creoles, you
Yes.
have the Mestizos, the East Indians, the Mennonites, the Garifuna,
yes.
right? And each of these ethnic group has its own cuisine.
Right.
But all of us, all Belizeans, are familiar with all of these cuisines. So if we were to say there's a national dish, it's very difficult because every ethnic group has its own cuisine.
Right.
I, for instance, I really do love any food that is made from maize.
Yes.
Like I'm not sure if you had dukunus in Belize, but that's one of my favorites. So it's made from maize.
Yes.
And it's grounded corn, and you make it into a paste, and you put some meat in it,
okay.
and you put it in the corn leaf,
okay.
and you boil it
okay.
until it becomes a solid,
okay.
and then you eat it, right?
So
that's one of my favorites,
okay.
right? I also enjoy tamales.
Yes.
I enjoy empanadas, right?
Yes.
I enjoy food that's made salbutes, food that's made
My mouth is watering.
food that's made from maize, but the maize is a staple
yes.
for the Mayans and for the Mestizos,
right?
And then the Creoles, we're known for like our rice and beans,
yes,
and any choice of meat, and our fried plantains, and our salad, right? The Garifunas, right? They're all one of their major or main dishes is the hudut,
okay.
right? So you have a soup that is made from, or a stew that is made from coconut milk.
Okay.
And you can put fish in it. You can put green plantains, sometimes okras, and you eat that with green and ripened plantains that are pounded together.
Oh wow!
And every November 19th, all of Belize almost would be eating hudut.
Okay.
Which is why I said that we're a very multicultural
yes.
Society, and that is what makes us so beautiful.
Yes.
You can hear it
yeah.
when I speak of my country. I speak
yeah.
with such pride and such enthusiasm, because I think that we're just a beautiful mixture
yes.
of people, of cultures, of histories, of influences, and we all unite under that identity of Belizean. And the people are very welcoming
yes.
to anyone who wants to visit Belize. So I assure Taiwanese that they will have a very enjoyable and a memorable experience and visit to Belize, or welcome them to come to Belize.
Well, I can attest to the food, the two occasions. One, your National Day event, and also the National Day for the Student Association. We had delicious, I think it was queso, that dip, and I couldn't get enough of that, and I filled up on the appetizer. Before I even got to the main thing. Now, more about Belize, as you were saying, you can do as little or as much as you want. Now, I went to a Mayan ruin, I think it's Caracol, and so I was in Mexico, and I did go to Guatemala, and that was what was so surprising to me. And the other fact that you mentioned, it's the second largest Great Barrier Reef, and the largest is in Australia, and they're using that as their biggest thing. So I think we need to really pump that up, and I think that Taiwanese would be interested in that because it's not as visited as, of course, Australia is a huge country, and you know they've had tourism, but this is such a huge thing. And so I was in Belize City and in San Pedro, the little key there, and I did go to the Blue Hole. And the second time I just stayed in the city. But like you were saying, if you want to just do the beach, you can do the beach. You can just eat. You also have rums, and you've got...
Yes, we have a variety of rums.
Yes.
They're on display.
I've got a picture of that.
Yes. Also have wines. A variety of juices. People do enjoy the coconut water.
Yes.
In Belize, fresh off the tree.
Yes.
Our Marie Sharp hot sauce is also very well known. In fact,
it's everywhere.
Yes, and it won Best Tasting Hot Sauce at the 2022 Dubai Expo.
Oh, wow.
So it's a big deal,
yes.
right? And as you have mentioned, we have the second largest barrier reef in the world. So we have a variety of national and natural wonders that are exciting to learn more, that Taiwanese can learn more about.
Yes. So if you want jungle, if you want the beach, if you want little islands, we just took a little seaplane over to the island. It was just like a 6-seater. Yes. You can do lots of things. It's easy to get there. Now, the next question, I think, for Taiwanese is, how do we get to Belize? So we know that it's, under Mexico. So when you go home to Belize, what route do you take?
Right. So the most popular route to Belize would be from Taipei to California.
Okay.
Either via Los Angeles, LAX, or San Francisco.
San Francisco. Okay.
And then there could be a direct flight, which you can take from on Alaska Airlines from California to Belize, which is like 6 hours.
Okay.
Or you can connect from California to Houston, or to Atlanta, or to Miami.
Okay.
No, from Miami to Belize is only 1.5 hours. So
yes.
I'm always excited when I'm in Miami. I'm like, I am an hour and a half away from home.
Almost home.
Right. From Atlanta to Belize is approximately 2 or 3 hours.
Okay.
From Houston is approximately 4 hours, and as I mentioned, from California it's approximately 6 hours.
Okay.
So it's really, and many Taiwanese do travel to California.
Yes.
For a variety of reasons, and so they're already there.
Yeah.
6 hours to Belize.
To do another one. Well, that's my next point. Is sometimes when I'm talking to friends from Belize and their Taiwanese friends, they want to go visit.
Yeah. So here is Los Angeles.
Right.
So from Los Angeles to Belize, it's like approximately 6 hours.
Yeah.
As I've mentioned, Houston would be approximately 4 hours. Miami's right here, so it's an hour and a half.
Right.
Atlanta is here, so it's about 3 hours or so.
And you could even break that trip up.
Right.
So it wouldn't be a huge deal, you know, go to California for 3 days and then go do something. So that's what I try to tell people is when you look at the map, it seems like it's so far away and everything's so different. But now the way the world is, we want to know. So whenever I do get a chance to meet with different ambassadors, I do always ask, how do you get home? Because I know that we are far, but Belize is, you know, it's a lot easier than other countries that are in the ally nations.
Yeah.
So if you are looking for something new, you know, and you're already going to somewhere in the US, you can just get a flight and try something new. So I think that would be good for the Taiwanese public.
Yes.
You know, you get to, like you were saying, the Blue Hole, which I have seen as well. It's quite overwhelming though.
They're actually a really good image.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Of the Blue Hole.
Can you see? And you had this painting at your...
Right.
Yes.
And so this painting, as well as this sculpture that is directly behind you, these are a part of an initiative that the embassy had engaged to commission paintings and sculptures from Belize through the National Institute of Culture and History as a way of celebrating the relationship, the diplomatic relationship between Belize and Taiwan.
Wonderful.
So if you look at that photo, you will see features of both Taiwan and Belize.
Yes.
You have the Taiwan flag, you have the Belize flag, you have the Taiwan blue magpie,
Yes.
and the Belizean macaw parrot. You have the
Queen's
Nefertiti head.
Yeah, the Queen's head.
You have the Shimen waterfall for Taiwan, and you have the Great Blue Hole.
Wonderful. Yeah, so there's so many things for people trying something new. And I do think that Taiwanese are adventurous. I've been in crazy places in the world, and Taiwanese are there. So try something new.
And you know, on that point of the distance, and this is coming from someone whom I had said earlier, I have traveled extensively, and I will continue to travel because my perspective is that traveling is education in and of itself.
Yes.
There's so much that you can learn from traveling that you perhaps would not learn in the classroom, right? And so I welcome traveling to different countries in spite of where they are located. I've been to, I think one of the longest flights that I've taken was to Johannesburg. It was 19 hours nonstop to Johannesburg.
Right.
And I would do that again because it's a way of, you know, being exposed to a different country, different cultures, different peoples.
Right.
And so whenever I speak to Taiwanese, I would say that to them. You know, I had traveled from Belize to be here, and it is a remarkable experience.
Yes.
I am so appreciative of this opportunity to travel from Belize to Taiwan, to live here in Taiwan, to be immersed in the cultures of Taiwan.
Right.
And so I wouldn't want them to deny themselves of that opportunity because of what they may perceive to be too far of a distance.
Right.
I think that is something that you should embrace,
Yes.
right? Traveling, whatever distance, to a different country, to learn,
Right.
to be exposed, to broaden your mind, and to shape your perspective, to give you a more diverse perspective, you know, of the world, of peoples of the world, of countries of the world.
Right.
So I would encourage Taiwanese to travel to Belize in spite of what they may conceive to be too far of a distance.
Right. Because it may seem far, but you won't be disappointed.
No, and you certainly won't be disappointed.
No.
In fact, the president the president of Taiwan, President Dr. Tsai Ing-wen, enjoys at least two features of Belize, right? And she had declared this. She enjoys our Marie Sharp hot sauce,
right?
And she also enjoys our lobster.
Yes.
Also our shrimp.
Yeah, that's good.
Of course, I had said to her, well, if the president of Taiwan were to say this publicly, yes. Taiwanese would be eating our shrimps and our lobster and our pepper sauces, right? But she did say that she enjoys those. So I would encourage Taiwanese to visit Belize to sample our cuisines, to sample our lobsters and our shrimps and our hot sauces, so that they can also return and say, yes, I agree. Those are delicious. Yes. I agree with my president. Yes. Those are delicious.
President approved.
Yes.
Yes. So there's not enough that we can say about this country. So I think that, I know you're very busy. Again, thank you so much for your time. Mm-hmm. And we hope to see you at an event soon. And again, if you have any sort of event that you have upcoming, I'm going to try. The Lantern Festival is still on.
I think it's
in Tainan, isn't it? Yeah, so hopefully we can see that. And then also your food show.
Hunkar.
Yeah.
The opening is on April 2nd or 3rd?
It's going to be in Taichung, Tainan, and Kaohsiung.
Yes.
Yeah, so
we'll invite you to the opening if you are available.
And we can post those on the show as well. So again, thank you so much for your time. It's wonderful to see you. And I know you've got a busy schedule. There's an event tonight that I'm not invited to. So thank you again. And if you're trying a new country that you'd like to come visit, think about Belize. I've been there myself 2 times. I'd love to go again. Next time you go, I go with you.
Certainly. Well, thank you, Michael. And I mean this. Thank you for the work that you do. It may seem small to you, but it's not. I think that it's very instrumental in our objective, our embassy's objective, to promote our country here in Belize. Whatever medium or platform, as long as it's reputable and it's good, we are willing to embrace. And so I am appreciative that you approached us with this platform to share about our embassy, the work that the embassy is doing in Taiwan, as well as to expose Taiwanese more to Belize, to our history, to our peoples, to our cultures, to our cuisines, to our books, right?
Yes.
This is important to the objective of, one, promoting cultural exchanges, building people-to-people understanding, and also invariably to strengthen because we already have a very strong relationship, diplomatic relationship, but to augment that.
Yes.
So again, I'm appreciative of your approach and for extending this platform to our embassy. And I want to end again by encouraging the Taiwanese society, as well as others who may be here, to visit Belize. We have a multitude of activities that you can engage that will suit the preference of anyone who travels to Belize. And it is not as far as you think. As I've mentioned, it's an hour and a half away from Miami. It's 6 hours away from California. So when you connect to California, you can always think about, well, I need to go and learn more about Taiwan's most reliable diplomatic ally in Central America. My beautiful, my exquisite country, Belize.
Thank you. She said it all. So we'll see you on the next episode.